Impaler. Despite its title, this isn't some sort of graphic hentai game, but rather an endearing arena boomer shooter thing where you impale enemies on your many long rods. No long tutorials, no complicated mechanics. You have a gun, and you have the ability to conjure the aforementioned rods. However, it's not so simple as to be boring. There's a good few movement tricks to pick up on which make the gameplay smooth, give a certain soft progression even though you'll pick them up pretty quick. In terms of hard progression, besides the progression of your hard spikes into unfortunate squishy demon tourists, there's some. It's roguelike, there's a few unlockable weapons, there's a few unlockable difficulties, and there's upgrade mechanics within the runs, but nothing outside of them. During a run, you collect gold coins, trade them in for these upgrades. Then outside of the run, you have a library of all the upgrades that you've collected, and these upgrades are hidden in-game until you've collected them at least once, so I guess that's progression of a sort. The runs themselves are short and sweet by design. Take 20 to 30 minutes, I found. Less sometimes. The rounds are randomized, but there are only 7 or so enemy types. That's including the boss fight, which is always the same. So you've pretty quickly seen every combination there could be. Now the arena is always the same, but a variety of pillars are spawned and shifted around in different areas, and they appear at varying heights, so they act as walls, cover, whatever you need. And this stops this single arena from getting boring. Again though, you'll have seen most combinations after a relatively short amount of time. Touching on the combat and gunplay, the weapons look good, feel good, sound good. I'm not going to pretend they're hyper-intuitive masterpieces, but they very much do their job. The spikes are fun and easier to use than you might think. You get used to them very, very quick. A central mechanic of the game is hot swapping your weapons, so both your spikes and the gun you're using overheat very, very quickly, forcing you to swap between them. You could just use one, and there are achievements for doing that, but it's a lot fucking harder, and it's not the core design. Also, killing enemies with the spikes gives you health. You also get health from Goomba stomping enemies, much like Chris Pratt gets health every time he refuses point blank to even attempt an accent. Now, as far as the difficulties go, this is my bread and butter. I want games to just keep going up and up and up and up and up until I'm beating the shit out of my own shadow in anger. The initial difficulty is low if you're used to shooters like this. I mean, I beat the base difficulty first try. Then there's 2 more unlockable difficulties, with the next one being just enough harder to feel like an actual challenge. That was enjoyable. Then there's Nightmare difficulty, which adds more damage, adds a bunch more modifiers as well, like your spikes now overheat really fast. You do 2 rods, just shagged. You just gotta lie down for 4 minutes. This was a lot more difficult, and in my typical disgusting masochistic manner, I liked it like that. I thought that was the best way to play the game. Maybe, instead of having these free modes with the score multipliers, you just separate out all of these different modifiers, your damage, your health, your overheats, and you can tailor the experience and the difficulty to yourself, adding a few more stepping stones between that sort of relatively challenging hard difficulty and the really challenging nightmare difficulty, and also adding a few steps after that, so people could do like a one-hit mode or something insane like that. You know, if you're really into your sort of nerd BDSM. The biggest draw though is easily the price tag. I mean, for what this is, the price is incredible. I've played games 5 times the price of this, which pale in comparison. Not that that's difficult with the shit that gets released, but still. A lot of games just don't have the effort put in. And you can tell this is a passion project. It's got a cool, unique mechanic. It's got good gameplay. I don't really give a shit about anything else. It's a relatively nice looking game as well. Like, it's not lazy in any sense. And it does have replayability because of the 6 different weapons and the various difficulties. There's no reason you couldn't get a fair few playthroughs out of it. You could get more time even than I spent on it out of it. I reckon you could pull 3 hours out of this, or something along those lines. And for this price, if you've stolen somebody's lunch money, then this would be the way to spend it.